Good afternoon and welcome to afternoon tea at SME. My name is Mrs. Julie Jones and I am the proud principal here at San Miguel. We haven't had afternoon tea in a while, so we've got some great updates to share. Here's our agenda for the meeting in terms of what we'll be discussing. And if you have any questions, go ahead and pop them in the chat or unmute, and I am here to answer or have any discussion. As you have heard, I'm sure many times, we have our vision, mission, and motto. This is what drives everything that we do, who we are, how we spend our time, why we do what we do, how we spend our money. And if you ever want to trick your kid up, you should say at home, we are leaders, and see if they end with our motto at school, at home, and in our community. We are a community school, as we've discussed several times as well. This is all about making school a place where students and families can get all of their needs met, whether it's academically, social, emotionally, basic needs. Also integrating with our community more, inviting parents and family members in to be a part of our school community. But the idea is that we are the center of the San Miguel community. The San Miguel neighborhood, we are the hub. That is the whole premise of a community school. What makes a community school are the four pillars, which you'll see up on the screen. What I really like to say, though, is that it's just like as we look at a child as a whole, like the whole child approach, academically, social, emotionally, nutrition, mental health, all of those things. The pillars of community school are the exact same thing. It's like looking at the school from that whole child, that whole school approach. And again, knowing that we at the end of the day are the hub of the San Miguel neighborhood and community. One of the things that we've been working on a lot is getting feedback from our stakeholders, meaning you guys and our staff and our students. Because of that, you all have had a variety of surveys sent to you. Thank you so much for doing those. I know it can be a challenge with the busy life that you guys all have. But really, the purpose of that is to get your feedback, and then we take action based on that feedback. And here are some examples of some of the action that we have been taking. You'll see that we've had some improvements to our facilities. We are increasing our opportunities for mentoring, our opportunities for students to have more voice and choice as it relates to meals. So lots of really great things happen when you tell us what you want and need from us as a community school. There's lots more to come still, but these are some of our current highlights that we have happening, which is really exciting. There are lots of ways to be a part of our community school. We've got information to share. We have surveys for you guys. We have events coming up. These are some of our big rocks coming up. And then we always have committee meetings, whether it's Family Lighthouse or our community schools, English Learner Advisory Council, School Site Council, afternoon tea at SME, which we're having right now. So lots of ways to be present, to be involved. We try and blast you with information as much as possible, but coming and being a part of these meetings really is a great way to solidify your involvement as part of our community school. Now let's move into some of the great things that are happening here. I've linked some of our recent events to our habits. As you guys know, we're a Leader in Me school. We practice all the 8 habits. So I've tied all of our 8 habits with, again, some current events happening here at school. So starting with habit number 1, be proactive. You'll see that right before the winter break, we had our most recent leadership assembly. Being proactive is all about taking care of you, being responsible for you, not letting all those distractions around you get in your way of success. And so every month we award leaders certificates and special Leader in Me swag for being proactive and demonstrating the 8 habits. So here's some of our leaders from our December assembly. Beginning with the end in mind, just recently, last week, our 6th graders, the culmination of hours of work on a national parks research project, were in the auditorium and the whole school came to visit. All of our classes, all of our staff, we welcomed families and community members here for our leaders to share out about their national parks. They had beautiful presentations, whether it was on the computer or dioramas or presentations that were hard copy printed. But what was so great was to see our sixth grade leaders really stepping up, and they began with the end in mind and were able to celebrate with lots of affirmation from all the visitors that were there to learn about their national park. Putting first things first, work and then play. You can see some photos here of some of the ways that we do that here at school. So we have leaders working on their personal WIGs, their wildly important goals. This is a big part of who we are as a leadership school, kids knowing what they're working on, why they're working on it, how they're going to get there, how they're going to celebrate, how they're going to track it. So some photos of our kids recently working on some of their goals. A fun photo of some Stallion Station kiddos. This is a very important leadership role, but you can only be a part of it if you're putting first things first because you're filming during school hours. So you have to get all of your work done in class to be able to come out and film during school hours. So some kids putting first things first. Thinking win-win is all about coming up with that third solution, not what's good for me or good for you, but what's good for us. A really fun example of this was our winter festival that we had. And that was because a lot of our leaders were working the festival. So they were a part of it. They were giving back to their school community. They were also having a good time as well. You'll see a photo on the bottom. Our former mayor, Raquel Vasquez, was in the room, which was awesome. So our leaders were participating by leading events, and they were also working our beverage station, which was a fundraiser for the school. So like a win-win-win, in my opinion. Really, really fun event. Seeking first to understand and then to be understood. These photos to me, I know may look a little bit strange, but this is a direct connection to us hearing your feedback as a community. So again, seeking first to understand what you needed, what you were looking for, and then we understood what you needed. And one way that we did that was by improving our school parking lot. So if you haven't been by there recently, you see that our maintenance team over the winter break painted all the lines, repainted all of the directional arrows, the handicap parking spots, the no parking spots. So really this was one of the ways that we practice this habit to make sure that we understand what you need and then how it impacts us and the steps that we have to take to get there. So a really cool way to show off habit number 5. Synergizing. I love this habit. This is a really fun spirit day that we had right before break. We had an Attendance Matters Spirit Week the last week before break. Every day was a Student Lighthouse Spirit Day, but the Friday day was my favorite. It was Wear More Red Than Mrs. Jones. Obviously, our colors are red and black, but we primarily lean into the red. And you can see that we had leaders completely and totally own it. The biggest picture right kind of front and center, that's just a portion of the kiddos that got a free homework pass. My incentive was if you wear 3 or more items that are red, whether it's your shoes, your socks, your pants, gloves, a hat, a scarf, whatever it is, 3 or more got you a free homework pass. So, but kids like really came and staff just completely decked out in red. It was so fun and a great way for us to practice habit number 6, synergize. Sharpen the Saw is all about taking care of your heart, your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit, all the things that make you who you are. And here's some fun examples recently. You'll see some kiddos out playing soccer with one of our playground partners, a great way to sharpen the saw during the school day. And then towards the middle, you'll see our first grade team actually had the Birch Aquarium come onto campus with a ton of really cool sea creatures and presentations on how to be responsible in terms of ocean life and the beach. So sharpening the saw by working through, some really cool educational activities was fun for their mind and it was fun for their hearts too. A little while ago, we had our second grade team be a part of ABC 10 Story Time, where you'll see there's a huge camera. We had a news anchor out reading to our kids, and then through some really generous donors, the kids were able to pick 5 books and take them home with them in a brand new backpack. And I mean, like, really cool books, like, Dave Pilkey books and books for kids of all reading levels and all interests, from dinosaurs to graphic novels. It was so much fun, such a cool way to fill up our buckets. And then one of our leaders having a great time at recess, just sharpening her saw another way. And then we have Finding Your Voice. I was really honored that we were selected as the only school in Central County of San Diego to host a recent a regional visit, excuse me, by Franklin Covey. Franklin Covey is the owners of the Leader in Me program. And we were selected out of all the schools in the Central County to represent what a Leader in Me school is. So we had folks come from literally all over the county to see what Leader in Me looks like here at San Miguel. These are schools that are either thinking about starting a Leader in Me program or have just kind of got their feet underneath them and are trying to figure out, what do I do next? So we had over 50 leaders throughout the morning present and find their voice, whether it's, as you can see, speaking in front of all of our visitors. We had leaders taking our visitors around campus as a tour guide. And then in class, we had student leaders presenting on their leadership notebooks, their classroom wig, talking about their lead measures and their leadership roles. It was so awesome. And the feedback that we got from our visitors was just outstanding. They were so, so impressed. Even our Franklin Covey rep was like, this is amazing. I see Leader in Me schools all the time, and this is incredible. So really, really, really awesome way for leaders to find their voice and practice habit number 8. So if you're here, you're obviously connected with us, but there's lots of ways to do so. We're pretty active on social media. I would say that Dojo is the way to go. If you only need one method, that's all I can do, Mrs. Jones. Dojo is the way to go. We keep our school website active. And then obviously our Stallion Station YouTube channel gets at least 2 videos a week, whether it's Jump Into Monday or Stallion Station. And then we always put these kind of videos up as well. And then what's coming up? You can see that these are all of the events that are kind of family events. We have lots of things happening for our kids as well here at school, but these are our things to be aware of from now until our next afternoon tea. So we've got school board meetings, school holidays, Great Kindness Challenge. A lot of things are happening between now and then. We want to make sure that you're aware of what's going on, because it's easy to to get lost in all of the events that we have happening. Um, all right, so I think that's it. I will take any questions, any comments, and if you're ready to go on with your day, then that's great too. Thanks so much for coming.